What's good, y'all, and welcome to the RainyRain Show Uncensored. And today we got the legendary Barbara Carlyle. And if you don't know who Barbara Carlyle is, let me refresh your memory of when Jamie Foxx was hosting Def Comedy Jam. Here's a sample.
All right. Ooh, ain't it something about that music that make you want to move your pelvis? No, y'all don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, don't y'all front. Y'all know y'all mamas dance like that. Soon as they get drunk. Now, since I do a clean set, I know I got to do a few proverbial fuck yous to make some of y'all feel at home. So, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. And you fuck me. Now, y'all all heard old-time bedtime stories. I like to give you the modern versions. Little Red Riding Hood was walking through the woods one day. Big Bad Wolf jumped out the bushes and said, Little Red Riding Hood, when I catch you, I'm gonna throw you down and fuck you to death. Little Red Riding Hood say, no, you ain't. You gonna eat me just like the book say?
That's what's up, y'all. Like I said, I bet you remember now who Barbara Carlyle is. I bet you remember now. And she is right here with us on our studio phone. How are you?
I am fine. How are you?
That's good. Let me turn. I don't know why I got the little thing a little loud. It's like sound loud to me. We gonna turn that down a little bit. We like to be 100 on here anyway. So we don't do all the technical stuff, but we do some of it. We do some of it. So how was your holiday? First of all, how was your holiday?
Oh, it was wonderful. I finally got a chance to meet with all my sisters and brothers. The last time we all were together was when my mom died in 2018. So it was wonderful to meet up with them in Atlanta. You know, all of the nieces and nephews and cousins and whatever. So we had a good time. Surprisingly, we had a great time.
That's what's up. Now you was born and raised in Georgia, right?
Yes, I was born in Twin City, Georgia. It's, probably about as big as your studio, but very, very small. One horse town, one red light, and a 4-way stop sign, and that's it.
Wow. So how old was you when you knew comedy was for you?
It would be easier for me to say how old I was when I knew entertainment was for me, because I started out wanting to be an actress. Okay. And I kind of just segued into doing stand-up because I've always been very quick-witted. And like I said, I knew I wanted to be on TV in some capacity. So comedy came much later in my, I wouldn't say it came much later. While I was in college at Savannah State, I would always get the lead role in the comedic plays that we did, and I'd always get a very small role when they did a serious play. And I used to complain about it, but apparently Dr. Stevenson knew what he was doing.
So what college you say you was at?
Savannah State, HBCU down in Savannah, Georgia.
Okay, and that's where you got your English language program at? Yeah,
that's where I got my degree in English language and literature with a minor in mass communication.
Now that's a whole 360 from comedy. What made you decide to go in that direction?
Well, I've always been fascinated by English, since I was in theater arts. They didn't have that as a major, and the closest thing I could get to was just being in English. It was just the thing back then. Everybody, how your parents wanted you to go to college, and I was the third one in the family to go to college. So I had to pick a major, and since I love English and literature so much, that's what I chose.
Does it help you a lot now with your comedy and everything?
No, because if you listen to me talk, you think I wouldn't know any English. But it's just a persona. I know a lot.
Okay, and also thank you for your service. You're a vet in Operation Desert Storm. Thank you, thank you.
Yes, yes, yes. I didn't mean to be. No, don't thank me too much because it wasn't like I volunteered to go over there. Now I volunteered to join the Marine Corps, but I never expected there to be a war in my lifetime. So,
Well,
you know.
what's the story behind that? How did you decide to sign your life over to the government?
Oh my God, it's crazy. I think I was going through a midlife crisis because I was 30 when I joined the Marine Corps. Um,
And then you
I had
joined the hardest one?
I know, but they had the best looking uniform, you know.
Right.
I was walking downtown New York, out in Long Island in Hempstead, New York. I was walking downtown and I just happened to pass by the recruiting offices and I looked in the window and the recruiter for the Marine Corps was cute. So I was just gonna go in and flirt. Next thing I know, he done convinced me to sign up to go in.
So
And
a
I
man
tried.
made you do it. A man made you do
Yes, yes,
it.
yes, yes. I tried my best to avoid it, but unfortunately, I held off as long as I possibly could, and I was wise enough to know that I didn't want to be in there full time because I knew it would interfere with my comedy career, and so I said, well, I'll go, but I'll only go as a reservist, and that's what happened. I went to boot camp. They had to give me an age waiver to get in because I was 30, and they had promised to send because I had a college degree to send me to officer candidate school, and they would give me an age waiver for that, but that never happened. So,
Oh, so
and
you
then
really
there's
so
the
so you really was just the reserves in it.
yes, yes. So that's what happened. Desert Storm came about, and next thing you know, we're over there in Saudi Arabia.
Wow. So I mean, that experience for you, like, would you think you still be wanting to do comedy and entertainment after that?
Yes, I mean, I was doing comedy over there. I was entertaining my friends and whatever. And at one point, they asked me to do a show. Just get up for a little while and do something. But uh, I knew eventually. I prayed that we would get back home and I'd get back to the love of my life. Well, comedy has always been my husband, and and there was nothing in me that thought that I would not get back to doing comedy.
Now you did
Don't get me
say
wrong, I was afraid over there, but
now you did say comedy was your husband, right?
yeah.
Okay, that goes into my next little thing. Because doing my little research or whatever, why is your husband such a mystery? Why is
Well,
he such a
actually,
mystery?
I don't have a husband. I told you, people don't understand the Barbara Carlyle they see on stage. That's a persona. That's a character I created that just it is fashioned after the elders in my life, my mom, my aunt, a couple of women in the neighborhood, and I've never been married. I'll say I'm married. If you were to sit through a whole show of mine, I'll go from being married to being single to dating, and people don't even follow it. Some people will. Some people will say, "Hey, wait, I thought you said you were married,"
Right.
but they're not really listening. But no, comedy has always been my husband. That's the only thing that won't cheat on
Amen to that. Yeah, you gonna get out of it what you put into it on that.
me. Yeah,
I say
yeah,
I
that's
say
true.
that, and with the entertainment thing, and with me slowly progressing my way into it, it is like I don't even think I kind of want a relationship because I'm doing business networking. That means you gotta be in a lot of different people faces. You gotta be
Yeah,
friendly, and I know I ain't a people person, so you might not be a people person, so you got to deal with with all this stuff, and then I gotta come home because you think I'm cheating because of the picture they might have been taken or some other stuff.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, ain't nobody got time for that because that's wasting energy. And now my show and my performance or whatever I'm doing is reflecting off of it, and now we losing money, and then you're gonna be mad because you can't spend it. So it's just a
Yeah.
lose thing.
Yeah, it's a lose-lose kind of situation because, even in the relationships that I was in, um, they started off saying that they knew what I do and supporting what I did, but after a while, me being gone all the time, and people coming up to you, and like you say, pictures, people just naturally want to put their arms around you or whatever, and a lot of things can be misconstrued, and I just got tired of having to try to convince, who do I come home to, who do whatever. I mean, when I'm leaving the show, you're talking to me. When I'm going to the show, you're talking to me. I mean, God, cheating that easy? I know it is, but I'm just saying, if I were cheating, you'd be the first to know. And believe me, when I started, he was the first to know. You drove me to this.
And cheating is for the willing, and you know what I'm saying? You got to be willing to cheat to do it. Not everybody is willing. Believe it or not, people, there are still a lot of faithful loyal people out there. We just stay single because y'all don't know how to act right.
Yeah, and I'm faithful to a detriment, because I stay in a relationship much too long when I know, no, there's no way to revive it, no matter how many respirators you put on it.
I like the way you put that.
Yeah, because it's worse than COVID, being in a going nowhere relationship, because it's just like COVID, because your people can't come see you, nobody can talk, you can't reach nobody, it's hard to communicate. So right. a messed up relationship is just like having COVID. That's what I say, and that's what I mean.
So your entertainment resume is impeccable, and I remember when I first saw you, it was on Def Comedy Jam, and it
so
was
you missed all my Comic View days.
No,
because I was.
See, I always thought Def Comedy Jam was before Comic View.
No, Comic View was first, and I did at about 6 or 7 seasons of Comic View long before I did Def Jam.
Okay, well, yeah, the first time I seen you though was on Def Comedy Jam. I used to watch Comic View, but when I started watching Comic View, it was when Bruce was on.
Yeah, was the host.
Yeah, and that's when I started really kind of like really watching Comic View.
Oh, you had missed out on a lot because there were several hosts before him.
Yeah, I was poor at that time. I couldn't afford the cable bill.
But wait a minute, I think Comic View was just on regular BET channel, or was? I bet you have to pay for BET back then. I don't know.
BET was cable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
BET was cable. Yeah. So
yeah, and people thought that we got paid lots of money for that, but we didn't. We only got paid like $150 to come out there, but you couldn't beat the exposure. Right. They played it so many times a week.
Right. Did you get paid for every time they played it though, or just that
no,
one pay?
Not back then, but now we do. Now, through Sound Exchange and other things, they go back and they get the money for all the times that they played it and whatever.
I bet that check came right on time for it.
Yeah, especially the first couple of ones. You just you're sitting around. You go to your post office, your mailbox or whatever, and then there's a check there, and it ain't no small check. Now it's small now, but in the beginning, it's like, what?
That back pay, yeah.
Ain't nothing better than an unexpected check, except an unexpected man. That's the only.
Now, I had DJ for you back in 2017 when you came to Clean Texas to do a show.
Okay.
And I remember I asked you, I said, well, what's your entry song? And It was I can't. Dang, I meant to write
Usher,
that down.
Bad Girl.
Nah, it wasn't Usher Bagger. It was
It wasn't.
no, it was a new school song, and it was shocked me. I'm like, you want that song played? I'm like, I got you. Like, but
I can't even
oh,
remember because sometimes I change.
darn, and I
But
meant to write it down. I remembered it earlier, and I meant to write it down. I should have write it down. Knowing my memory is
was it? It wasn't stunning like my daddy.
no, it was
Um,
damn,
um,
I think it was
um,
it a 2 Chain song?
Two
Oh
Chains.
man,
Flat. Was it Flat?
yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
That's one of my other go-to songs. Yeah,
Yeah, so when
yeah. That's
yes, when you said that, I'm like, okay, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is what I'm
this
talking
old mama
about.
won't flat. This
Like,
is flat.
I mean,
Your ancient Harriet Tubman butt won't flat.
we really ain't that far apart. We really kind of ain't
Oh,
that far
okay,
apart.
okay,
So,
okay.
you know what I'm saying? We both look good and young for our age. So,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I'm
You know,
saying?
black don't crack.
Girl, you down this show down. But when after you did your set, you know what I'm saying? After you did your set, I had opportunity to come and talk to you, and honestly, it's like I was just getting to the point where I'm slowly meeting celebrities. So I have met one where like, oh wow, you know what I'm saying? like the money went to your head for real, like, you know.
Yeah.
And to see how down to earth, and you know what I'm saying, even though y'all human too, even though the fans don't see it that way, especially if you play a certain role in a movie or a TV series or something. But y'all human too, and to see how down to earth you was, and the pointers that you gave me have stuck with me since then, and that was in 2017. So I just
Oh.
want to thank you and appreciate you for that, because that also helped, like I said, got me into comedy. You know, not to I tried a couple of little open mics or whatever, just, you know, I did it, you know, but
Uh-huh.
to interview y'all and to see the insides and how y'all make everybody laugh no matter what. Like
Yeah,
it, like
it's
that's a
fun.
hard job.
And people think that it's a glamorous job, but anything in the entertainment business comes with a lot of ups and downs. You know, there's a lot of racism, a lot of sexism, a lot of just all kind of isms that go into, um, you have to have very tough skin to be in this business, especially as a woman. You know, they're making it look easy by elevating the people through social media outlets such as TikTok and Snapchat and all that kind of stuff like that, where all you have to do is post a video and already people are thinking you a comedic sensation. The art of comedy is steadily changing, but the pendulum is going to swing back to where people actually, especially now, or when the pandemic hit and people were stuck inside, they were looking for an outlet. And to see somebody just standing there trying to extend a skit they may have done and naming it comedy, it was like kind of a letdown, but promoters didn't know that. Promoters started jumping on the bandwagon and telling you, oh, you need to get your numbers up. And no, I don't need to get my numbers up. My title says comic. It doesn't say promoter. If I'm going to promote myself, I might as well do my own show. What do I need you for? So it's a crazy game, man. And we make it look easy. You think we're having fun, and I do have fun when I'm up there because there's a certain sense of power in it. But you got to go backstage, and you got to wait on your money, and you got to deal with all kind of craziness. Especially being a female in this business. A funny female. It's okay to be a female, but if you're a funny female, you get ostracized a lot more than people think.
Yeah, cause doing when I was doing some interviews with some local comedians, one accidentally called out the other. and that's
Really?
and that's the first time I'm like, wait a minute, y'all got beef like rappers? Like, what the heck is going on here? So you know what I'm saying. So I try to have fun with it and try to what I'm saying, give them like a little roasting battle or whatever. Like, all right, let's go ahead and squash the beef and let's have peace with it because I can't believe this. It's like this behind the scenes in comedy, and I'm slowly
But
seeing a little bit of it, but it's like this for real.
no, but the thing about it is it's not a matter of them having beef. It really stems from the male comics getting into the heads of some of the female comics and telling them, oh, well, this one ain't gonna like you because you're this one ain't gonna like you. You might be sexier, you might be prettier, you know. And when the people like me, you know, elder comics in the game, elder meaning being in the business, not elder as in being older, try to step to them and say, hey, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Don't do this, don't do that. They, and you're on the same kind of shows with them. Their first reaction, some of them might be, oh, well, who are you to tell me anything? You're on the same show I'm on. You ain't really made it, but what is making it? You know, how many people know me and how many people know you? Yes, we're on the same show, but do you think you really, if I went before you, do you really think you'll be able to follow me?
Right.
Here I am trying to give you some pointers because I've been where you are. You think I didn't start off as an unknown comic, as fighting to get on stage and just get 5 minutes in? They're letting y'all walk up on stage and do 10, 15 minutes and you only got nothing to say, but you feel like you said something. So it's crazy. And you're going to have the ones that listen and you're going to have the ones that don't listen.
Yeah,
So,
because nowadays everything entertainment wise went from talent to popularity.
yes.
It's just like
Yes, how many followers you got? They want you to have more followers than Jesus.
right.
It's crazy. No, think about it. Think about it. You can't even get this many people to follow Jesus, and you want me to have 1 million people? Come on.
Right.
I mean, he saved the world, but you trying to get me to save your show, but I'm the one that got to bring the people. It's crazy.
Right.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Right.
And even if I had 1 million followers, if you're having a show in Georgia, do you think what if all my followers were in California? Do you really think they're gonna come down here to Georgia to do this, to see the show?
First
So
of all, you ain't gonna have enough room for everybody.
and second of all, they ain't gonna come. Because I might be known in some areas don't mean I'm known where you're having your show.
Right.
And anybody, you can buy likes. You can sit there all day long and like yourself and push your numbers up. They sell likes. They sell boosts.
And I refuse to do that.
I definitely refuse to do it. Either you want me or you don't. Either they're going to come see me or they won't.
Right. I ain't in competition with nobody. I'm in my own lane.
Yes. You want to be the creme de la creme, but I never wanted to be the kind of famous where I felt like I couldn't come out in public.
Right.
It's okay for someone to know my name or recognize me. Oh, that's her that's Little Red Riding Hood, or that's whatever. But to think that I got to watch my bag, I got to have a bodyguard, because people are crazy now.
Yes.
People are crazy, but they've always been crazy. It's just a different kind of crazy now. It's a desperate kind of I gotta have what you got kind of crazy. It used to be a time when people kind of revered you to the point where they wouldn't mess with you. Now they're robbing their own family, killing their own family out of jealousy.
Yeah.
So I never want to be to the point where somebody think I got so much that they feel they got to take my life or do bodily harm to me so that they can get some kind of notoriety or get something that they didn't work for, But hey, such is life, you know.
Yes. Now, with you being in the business 20 plus years, um, how the change from for female comics, the change from you know what I'm saying, with you and Cheryl Underwood and Adele Givens, and then when y'all started out to the Tiffany Haddishes, like how did the change? How do you see the change? Like, what was the
Well, technically, there really wasn't a change. Um, when I started back in the '70s, we didn't have the black comedy explosion kind of thing. You know, the only clubs that were available to us were mainstream rooms or white rooms, and you were blessed to even get on stage to do 5 or 10 minutes. And I left Georgia, moved to New York in the '80s, mid '80s, and that's when the comedy explosion happened. When they started doing uh, uptown comedy in New York, and then they started doing Apollo started using a lot of black comedians, whatever, more so than having the singers and all that. And I jumped on that bandwagon because there were a lot of rooms. There were not comedy clubs, but there were nights that were dedicated to black comedy. So once stuff like television shows like Comic View and all that, you were jockeying for position to be able to go take those kind of shows. Showtime at the Apollo Comedy Hour, um, Comic View, and all those kind of shows like that. And people were really working on their craft. And so you built a name for yourself by continuing to be on stage and continuing working on your craft and getting the people to like you, getting the people to remember who you were and whatever. Then we moved into the 90s, and here comes Def Jam. So now it's all about the crassness of comedy, and they I wouldn't say they encouraged you to be dirty, but New York people wanted it raw, and believe you me, there were comics up there that were clean comics, or didn't do the vulgarity and whatever, but they had created a niche for themselves in their lane. So Def Jam helped us and it hurt us, because then the mainstream room started using it as an excuse not to have us in there. It's like, oh no, we're not gonna have Def Jam comics coming in here because we don't want to hear all the cursing, and we don't want to hear all the F words and all the anatomy jokes and whatever. But it was just a way of them keeping us out, because until they realized they would relegate us to like days of the week when they weren't making any money. And then they began to see that we were actually getting people to come out to see us. But still, they allow certain ones. You had to be, very popular. Like, you almost had to be one of the kings of comedy or one of the queens of comedy, and that you were supposed to be like the upper echelon of the comedic world, because these are the tops. So fast forward into the 2000s, then all of a sudden you had I don't know when things like with Keenan Ivory Wayans with the skits and all that kind of stuff, when all that happened, then in Living Color and all that, I can't remember what time span that was. And then with people being on Saturday Night Live, and then a lot of people moved into trying to do skits and trying to do improv comedy. Then we forward into now, and it's like, I don't even know what comedy is, with the way
Same
I
thing with
mean,
music.
you
Same
gotta
thing with music. Like, what is this garbage?
Yeah, I mean, it used to be a time. I think why a lot of people can't be in love no more because the art of slow dancing has been lost.
Don't nobody kiss no more.
No, nobody kissed nobody. Nobody look in each other's eyes. All they do is back that thing up. I don't even want to see your face. Just back that thing up. It's crazy. It's crazy. If we could go back to a time when somebody took you in there. Well, it's been so long that I had a hand in the small of my back. I don't even know what it looked unless I'm back there scratching. That's the only time I got a hand in the small of my back. But it was just something to know that a man would put his hand around your waist, and that was a resting place for him. But you get away from all that, and people probably think I'm crazy.
Man, don't touch me unless we fucking. That's
Yeah,
how,
it's
that's how
crazy.
it be.
And one night stands have always been one night stands, but at least the code and the ethics of one night stands was okay. This may be something, or this may not be something. But now it's like I not only just want a one night stand with you. I want what do you call it? An orgy. And all of us gotta be high, and all of us gotta be turning up, and all of us. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't stand a chance no more.
Like,
'Cause
and no regards, like even though COVID out there, AIDS and HIV and
Yeah,
them diseases are
and
still
all
out
the
there.
local businesses, they don't care. They don't care. I was looking at Atlanta. Atlanta never really shut down when COVID time. They were still out there doing comedy, but I haven't. I've been shut down. Even though I taped in October of 2020 Netflix, and it aired Black History Month, February 2021. We were supposed to go on tour, but they came and they basically shut the country right down again. So I was like, I'm going to take a hiatus till they get a handle on this thing, and but 2022 I'm going to get back out there full throttle. And it's kind of hard. I never thought it would be like this for me because, I've been doing comedy 45 years. And for the past 2 or 3 years, I really have to sit and think about my jokes because I'm not doing it on a regular basis. And I've talked to other comics who have been out here for a while, and they're going through the same thing. Oh yeah, my jokes are all over the place, and they're working. But if you're so used to doing a set, and people think that it takes that. Oh, when they look at people like Kevin Hart, when they look at people like Chris Rock, or they look at D.L. Hughley, and it was like, well, why are you still doing the same set? Well, they got writers. You actually think that they're that prolific that they can write a 30 to 45 minute hour by themselves? No, they have a team of writers that come in and help them with certain jokes. You get the premise and hey, let's work on this till we work it out. But getting up to 45 minutes, it takes a lot of work. And to be able to stand there and do that. And today's comics don't know that. They think every time you hit the stage, you got to have new material. Then how are people going to know who you are? Because some people associate certain jokes with certain comics. And then you wonder why somebody else is doing that joke. You know why they're doing it? Because they saw you do it one time and they liked it and the people laughed, but you never did it again. So they picked it up. And now it's their joke. And you're saying, oh, well, he saw me do that joke. Yeah, he saw you do it one time. But how many people is he in front of compared to the number of people you're in front of? Because every week you want to get up there and try to prove that, oh, I'm a writer, I got some new stuff. Okay, how about adding it to your old stuff?
Right.
That's how you build a set. Nobody's impressed because you can stand up there for 45 minutes. what are you saying in those 45 minutes? You anybody can stand up and talk if you're a talker.
Yeah, that's why I
But
do this.
yeah, well, it's an art. It's an art. It's like, and then you don't know that there are so many comics out here who are multi-talented. Some comics can sing, some comics can dance, they play instruments. So I mean, gotta stay relevant some kind of way. I wish I could play an instrument. Oh my God, you wouldn't be able to tell me nothing. Terrible.
Well, that's something that I am very much noticing that with comedy and music, they really are the same battles.
Uh-huh.
Cause like you said, you can't just go up there and do your joke one time and stuff, you know what I'm saying? And it's the same way with your music. If you're an independent artist, you just can't go up there and do this song one time, and then when they see you again, you doing all these other different songs. You gotta build your listeners and followers or whatever you want to try to build off
Uh-huh.
of, to get to know you or whatever, so they can be at a concert and be singing your song with you. I can't sing the
There you
song
go.
with you if I don't know it. I can't, laugh at the joke when we watching it at home once it don't get on DVD or on TV if we don't know it,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
and yes, everybody get that misconcept of it. um
Yeah, that's like when people go to a concert, you know, uh, they try to sing their new album out there that ain't as rocking as their old song, and the people looking at them like they crazy. Like, you better sing the song that I'm paid this money to come see, but they're trying to get their new stuff out there, so they have to resort to doing their old songs. And yeah, the people are singing because now they're having a good time. 'Cause I don't know that new song you got now. I'm
right.
gonna sing something for my new album. No, you ain't.
At least give me your
Not
old
on my
stuff first, so
dime.
I feel I got my money's worth, and
Not on
then
my dime.
throw some new stuff in there, and let's see, let's see.
Yeah, yeah. Get me excited first, but don't you come out here in the beginning talking about I'm gonna sing something for my new song. No, you not. Not on my dime. Let's do something else.
Now, like we was talking a little bit earlier about explicit comic and clean comics.
Mhm.
Do you think that explicit now overpower clean?
No, I think there's an audience for both. Um, because the comics, the clean comics, the church that do the clean material and church material, they're still working. A lot of them working on a lot more than us. Because a lot of churches are getting into having comedy, you know, in their different programs. And
They finally
what
loosening
people don't
up.
understand is anybody can be a clean comic. It's just a matter of word choice, you know.
Mhm. So,
So it's for people to say, oh well, this person is a Def Jam comic, this person is this person is that. You have to really go follow a person to see if that's what's going on with them.
true,
So
true.
I don't
Now with the Apollo and Def Comedy Jam and all that, what was your favorite? What was your best moment? Your favorite
with jokes or with show.
show? Which show that you done that was your best? That you felt that you had the most fun? That you felt was that you loved the most?
It's hard because everything was stretched out so much, and I have to go with whatever it is at the moment. Like right now, I think the most pivotal thing for me is what I just did now on Netflix, because Netflix is shown in 180 countries.
Right.
Whereas Def Jam and Apollo, it might have been shown to other countries, but they are getting reruns or whatever. Netflix, you're getting on at the moment, on the spot, and just to know that in 180 countries, somebody turn on Netflix and see me and go look at me. I can't even name 180 countries without throwing in some cities and states. It's like, hey, how many countries can I say? You know, without just saying the usual ones that we know, China, Japan, something like that. But 180 countries, ooh, that is saying
Like,
something.
I don't think I even remember it being that many.
It's probably more than that. You know, we just don't know them. But
Like, you talking countries or planets? Like,
yeah, plan. You know, like I said, we start throwing in states and everything else, continents. But the every time I take was a monumental time for me. You know, because even with the bounce TV thing, um, it's a different kind of clientele. Um, it's like the people started getting younger, and then when you can, sometimes you can have like you get to a point where you feel like you're not going to relate to them, you know, because like the millennials, they definitely don't think on the same kind of wavelength that we think on, and you know
amen to that.
that's why I don't do colleges. If I do colleges, it's got to be for an alumni group, you know, because standing up there trying to talk to 18, 19, and everybody on their phone, on Facebook, doing whatever, ain't really listening. So they got their niche with the people like the DC Young Flies, you know, all those kind of people that are out there that's on Wild and Out, and those kind of shows. That's their genre of comedy.
Right,
But
right.
for the people our age and a little bit younger and whatever, like from the 30s, no, 30s is probably giving it some, but at least 35 and older, they relate better to my era of comedy,
Right.
where people actually have something to say,
Mm.
you know? So,
All right, your favorite comic personally and that you have worked with.
oh, that is so hard to say because everybody I've worked with, I revere most of the time. Um, let me see. That is so. And then if I say a name, then I'm gonna think of another name, and then I don't say somebody that I should have said, then they're gonna be offended, and so uh, I'll play it safe. No, really.
I understand. I
So
understand.
is it like female? Should I do female? Should I do male? Do I get a
No box. No
how many
box.
do I get to name? Because I've worked with so many people that I think are just phenomenal. And like back in the day, I haven't seen JB Smooth do comedy lately, but back in the day, oh, I could sit and look at JB Smooth um, forever and ever and ever. I just thought he was just phenomenal. Um, uh, Today I can look at well, I was on doing coming along with Dave Chappelle, so I knew what he could do. I knew what Tony Wood could do. You know, people like that. But Marshall Brandon, I think he's pretty prolific. Um, there are a lot of comics down south that I think are making some noise. Double D, Dario Turner. Uh, oh my God, it's so many people that I like I said, if I start naming names and don't name the people, but I just got wind of a young lady that I never knew anything about because, you know, like I said, I'm on that side of comedy that people consider blue humor or explicit, and she's on that other realm. Sylvia Fremore Morrison. Oh my
Okay.
God. When I got wind of her, she has been in the business 53 years. And I'm like, how can I be a black female comic and not know about this lady?
Right.
I mean, she's an impressionist. I mean, I've never seen a female impressionist. I've seen so many impressionists. You got Dean Edwards, you got Tony Tone, You got
Aries
Muhammad.
Spears.
Yeah, Aries Spears. You got out to be a female and do all these different books, and she just doesn't just do females. She does males. You know, she was the first black writer, female writer for Saturday Night Live. And a
Wow.
lot of female comics don't know this. You know, she's written several books. And I met her 3 years ago at a comedy conference in Atlanta, Georgia, and I was blown away. I was blown away because I did not know. You know, she and Bernadette Stanton were in a black beauty contest together. Um, she roasted Muhammad Ali. Uh, she was
Wow.
on tour with Whitney Houston. I mean, she is just, the lady is phenomenal. And I'm like, I'm just so in awe of her. I'm like, oh my God. You know, I mean, the women that were out there, that are out there, that, you know, have been out here for a while, like Marsha Warfield, Thea, and all those people, but you got to see them on TV all the time. You got to learn about them. You know, they were in sitcoms and they were in this and that. And, you know, but Sylvia Tremor Morrison, it's like somebody kept her hidden. You know, she was a hidden gem, like a hidden figure. Right? But it's so many comics that I love, and I love comics who are true to their craft. Like Bless the Dead, I love watching Tyler Craig work. Um, I there are some comics out now. Big Mo Dixon out of South Carolina. Oh God, I know I'm gonna get in trouble naming names. You know.
Well, we ain't gonna have you name names now.
No,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
you
change the
know,
subject
I
real
gotta go
quick.
in my Chicago. You know, I got Diane Porter, and oh my God, there's so many people that I can name.
Uh,
Kevin
uh,
Williams.
okay,
Yeah,
we gonna say change the subject real quick.
yeah.
Now
Change the subject so
now
you have people calling.
with the Tiffany Haddish They Ready Netflix series.
Hmm.
How did that come about? You getting on that team with her?
Well, I met Tiffany back in 2007. We were over in Korea together for a military tour, and every night, you know, we each go to each other's one of the other rooms and go over how her show went, and you know, I give her some pointers, help her with some jokes, whatever, and you know, because Tiffany, the Tiffany you see now is the Tiffany that was back then. She is just she is all over the place. She she has that I don't care attitude. I'm gonna go for it. You know, she is just so effervescent. She is, I don't even know how to describe it. She is just so whimsical. You know, and I used to have to say, Tiffany, calm it down, calm it down. Come on, you got to tell some jokes. You can't be up there dancing 40 minutes.
so so
So,
so so when it comes to her acting, then I can assume that she makes her own character. That's her.
yes,
Okay, okay.
she can cry at the drop of a hat. I wish I could turn some tears on like that. I done been with so many crazy men that I can't even conjure up a tear, you know. But she can cry at the drop of a hat. Her go through a range of emotions. She's very prolific when it comes to that. But so we made a vow that if one of us made it, we would reach back and get the other. Now, I had been in the business already, you know, over 30 something years. And I'm saying to myself, 20 something years, well, it won't be me because I ain't made it by now. That's what I'm saying in my head. It's going to have to be you. And so when when uh, the first Day Ready came out and she had people on there, and I was like, oh my God, she forgot about me. She lied to me.
Oh.
And then that next year, when I was just sitting home, and I get a text message in my inbox, and it says, "Hey, this is Tiffany calling," because we have been talking back and forth to each other and whatever. And so I was like, "Yeah, right," because I had gotten hyped so many times,
Right.
So it was like, why would Tiffany be calling me? She got my phone number. She won't. Why is she texting me?
That's how I
She's
felt when you.
calling.
That's how I felt when you messaged me back. Like, did I get hacked?
So so anyway, I said, yeah, right. And then about a day later, she says another message, Barbara, this is Tiffany. I got something for you. Call me. So I was like, no, you called me. And I put my phone number. And so I'm just sitting there looking at TV, shelling peas, and the phone rings. And I recognized her voice. I was like, hello? I saw the number and I was like, this is the same number. So let me just entertain whoever this is. And it was you. And she was like, hey, girl, you the hardest woman in the world to catch up with. I was like, Tiffany, I didn't believe it was you. She's like, why wouldn't you believe it was me? I was like, no, this ain't the same number, first of all. And second of all, I just didn't expect you to call me. And another thing, lady, why didn't you put me on Day Ready? And she was like, Barbara, that's what I'm calling you for. And I just went into like a crazy zone, like catatonic. Like I couldn't move. I was like, what did you say? I want you to be on season 2. And she started naming the people that was gonna be. I was like, are you for real? And she was like, yeah, I told you I was gonna do it. And I was like, but you didn't put me on. She was like, Bob, I'm putting you on. So, yeah, I knew all the guys, but I didn't know the 2 ladies.
Okay.
So I had to work with them. So but she put together a great ensemble. We all worked well together. We had fun while we were out there. We taped in the middle of a pandemic, but and we had fun. It was something that oh my God, with me being in the business as long as I've been in, and something major like that came along. And I've always prided myself on being very humble and very down to earth. Not standoffish. Any comic could come ask me anything. Anybody could come ask me anything. I was a little too open to people, but it was like, everybody's depending on this promoter to come along, or this famous person to come along, and a black unicorn came along and just set my world on fire, and man, I could never repay her, because, and the part that I like most about not just taping the show was when we had the round table and we got to sit down and talk about the business of comedy, because people think it's all glitz and glamour.
Right.
But it's not. I mean, there were some very dark moments when, I've never been one of the comics that's been homeless. I've never been one of the comics that's been, I don't drink, I don't smoke. So I never had those demons to deal with. But I just had people who were just didn't want to see you grow. That was the only thing that I had to deal with. A lot of, like I say, racism, sexism, and just, not giving her just due. And she made a way for the world to sit down and look at the people that she thought were worth looking at. And oh my God, it was something.
Yes,
It
because
was.
it's like when back in the day era of female comics, all female comics had to stick together and work together and everything and help lift each other up, and then now with the generation, everybody pushing each other down. But it's
Yeah,
like,
everybody. Yeah,
but with Tiffany, she to me, she just came out of nowhere and she's standing by
yeah,
herself. Like I can't even. I'm sitting here trying to think like, what other young female comic right now? I don't even know no other one. Like I
yeah.
don't even know no other one. I can't think of it. So it's amazing what she's done, and I have watched some of her stuff. I'm a fan of hers as well. So tell her I said hey, and if
Yeah,
I can get her on the
she's
show,
so
tell her to call me. She can get on the show.
okay.
But to see her passion and her drive, and you know what I'm saying, and especially, you know, like I said, I'm a 70 baby, so I watched the difference on female comics,
Yeah.
and as a viewer and a fan, it's like I love it. Like, you know what I'm saying? She didn't take it, because it's like with the music thing, they took it and did whatever they choose to do. They screwed it up.
Uh-huh.
She didn't screw it up.
Yeah.
She didn't screw
And
it
she
up.
is so marketable. She is very marketable.
Yeah.
Everybody wants her to. She hawks anything. I mean, she probably can sell a number 2 pencil and make everybody go out just invest in number 2 pencils.
And she
So
has such a
she,
contagious smile. She has such a
yeah,
contagious
she
smile.
contagious everything because you never know what's gonna come out of her mouth. She is a free spirit, you know, and they allow her to be her. Because you know, you always have the execs that wanna dumb you down or amp you up, but they allow her to be her
And a lot,
because I don't think she knows any other way, you know.
yeah,
And it always comes across as very authentic and very accommodating. I'm sure she has her haters out there, as we all do, but they can't think of a reason why. If you ask her, well, why you don't like her? It's just something about her. And that's the biggest cop out in the world. It's just something about her. It's just something. I just don't like them. I don't know.
you just need to go to hell.
Yeah, it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop her whether you hate her or like her. So you might as well join the bandwagon. 'Cause she's gonna be around for a minute.
Yeah, that's the one thing I will say I do love about new generation. They really don't believe in boxes. Like, we grew up in boxes. Everything had to be the traditional way. You had to do it this
Yeah.
way. You had to be like this. You had to, you know, and you put me in this box, and you giving me all these limitations, and most of the time that ain't even me. And if
Yeah.
you give me time to flourish and open up that box and see my ideas and stuff, I might be that missing puzzle piece for you. You never know.
Yeah, but people are afraid to give you that chance. You know, they take a chance on who they want to take a chance on, and sometimes they pick wrong. They choose wrong, but they'll never let you know. You know, and you don't want to be the "I told you so" kind of person. But hey, I don't know. The in the grand scheme of things, whatever your destiny is and whatever God shows you favor in, it doesn't matter in the long run what people say, what they think, as long as you continue to walk in your destiny.
Amen.
You know,
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Wow.
it's crazy.
Yes.
You might get disgruntled, you might get tired, you might say, "Oh Lord, why is this?" Because there are many times that I was like, now how did they pick this person over me? And how did this, you know, and it's in the grand scheme of things, we keep thinking, you know, we have the date when we're supposed to do this and we're supposed to do that. I've never thought in 44 years later that I'd get this big opportunity. I hadn't been on TV in 12 years since before doing the Netflix thing.
I feel the
So,
same way doing this here with you, because I started doing this vlogging and stuff and interviewing stuff like in
mhm.
18, but I really started going in the foundation back in 2010 and 11. And I DJ, but wasn't for sure which direction I was going, and God put me here because I used to hate to talk on the microphone and stuff. I used to hate the sound of my
Really?
voice. Yes, I was that DJ that had to hire somebody to hype the crowd up.
Oh Lord.
And now I'm just sitting here talking away with Barbara Carlyle. Look at me now, you know.
Look at God.
You know, I would have, if you would have told me this is back. Nah, no, I wouldn't. I would have never believed it. Never believed it.
Yes, you would. Yes, you would.
Never
Our
believed
paths will cross again.
Yes,
You know,
that.
I've been looking at T. Saunders. I know she is up and coming female comic out there in the
Yes, funny
Columbia area.
woman, funny.
Very funny. And I've been looking at some of the is it, I don't know if it's an Instagram reel or if she's on TikTok, and I know it's one or the other. And some of the stuff she puts on there has me cracking up. Just her facial expression after she does something, you know, like she got that baby face, but it's like it don't match. So with all the things that she's going through and the things that she says, it's just comical to me, you know. But yeah,
Yes.
I would love to come back to the Colleen area because I got my heart broken in Colleen. I might not want to go back out there.
Don't take it out on us.
Yeah, why not? Why
We
not?
didn't break your heart. We didn't break your
I
heart.
can't take it out on him. I got to take it out on
You better
somebody.
find him and take it out on him.
No,
Don't be
I
punishing
can't
us.
find him. Look, unfortunately, he died. But yeah, I
Well,
got
you
my.
just go spit on his grave then. Don't take
No,
it out
I'm
on
not gonna
us.
spit on his grave.
Oh, take it out on us.
Look at you. You just took it there. Go spit on his grave. No, no. Suffice it to say, before I even got there, I said, I prayed. I said, Lord, if this ain't for me, give me a sign. Lord kept giving me all kind of signs. I kept ignoring them. From the time I landed, because he was supposed to pick me up at the airport, that didn't happen. I ended up having to rent a car. Okay, I had a hotel to stay in. He insisted that I go where he was. Anyway, needless to say, somebody else showed up in the middle of the night. And it wasn't a pretty picture, but well, it wasn't nice, you know. She and I got in a confrontation because, for one thing, I was hiding in the bathroom trying to pretend I was a copper pipe. I was trying to wrap myself around the water heater because I was naked as a jaybird, and all my clothes was out in the front room. And I was like, she's in the front room. I can't fight this girl naked. I'm in there putting on baby oil in case I had to fight. And she couldn't get a good grip if I had baby oil, man. It was just crazy. It was crazy. So I got what I asked God to show me, and He showed me.
Yeah, well, I don't mean to sound rude or whatever, but you know what I'm saying? But, you know, God fought your battles for you. You ain't got to worry about them no more. You ain't gotta worry about them no more. So, you know, you can move on. Don't take it out on us. Don't take it out on us. Don't take it out on us.
That was back during the time when I came to Colleen when Damon Williams had a room out there. So it wasn't recent. This was like in the early 2000s, mid 2000s or something.
I met him when he did a show here. So I'm I was here. I got a picture of him when I with him.
Yeah.
I got a picture with you. I got a picture with you too. I got my whole little wall of fame with everybody that I that I
well, you know
worked
that
with.
picture's gonna be worth 50 cents one day.
Especially
Especially if I signed it. You should have let me sign it. You'd have got $1 for it.
Well, really, at that time, everything was just going so much, and it was like I was just so busy trying to do stuff, plus being amazed, like, you know, sitting back watching the scene, because even also still doing that was my first time stepping outside of my comfort zone as a DJ. I always just DJ parties and, you know, stuff like that, so comic DJ was a different learning experience, so it was something I had to learn, so I was too busy, like, you know, doing that, and the fact that I sat and talked with you, that was enough memory for me. Yeah, I ain't got to tell you I don't need no autograph. I can tell you I sat and talked with the woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, we sat and talked for a good 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, this wasn't no high-by, you know, fan conversation. We sat and talked, you know? So it was like, you know, like that. But that's okay, because we're definitely going to We definitely gonna link up again, and we're definitely gonna work again or something.
Yeah,
That's something
we
else
love.
I always wondered too, because a lot of comedians or in the entertainment world got some type of podcast or radio station or
Mhm.
something. How come you don't have one?
I do. I do. I
You do?
have, as a matter of fact, I have two Zoomcasts. Uh, and all of them, after they air, well, after we do them, they go directly to my YouTube Barbara Carlyle official channel.
Okay.
On Friday nights, from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time, I do Mask, and that's Making All Souls Kindred Spirits. It's a Zoom cast where we talk about serious topics. We talking about walking in your destiny. We talked I think our first one was about COVID and all the different things people were doing to cope with COVID. Um, Betrayal again, and we talked about grief. We talked about uh, I mean we've done so many shows, and on Sundays 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time, I do Cougar Chronicles. Um, and it's supposed to be a lighter feel. And we joke about serious topics, but I've come to find out the people who tune in, they are serious about the topic. They don't find the
Nothing
stuff a
funny.
laughing. Yeah, because our first show was Should Side Chicks Form a Union? You know. And those women were coming on. I was like, yeah, we need a union. Yeah, because they don't understand our side of the story. You know, it ain't always us. I was like, oh Lord, okay. But I came up with the idea when I caught COVID. I caught COVID 4 days before my birthday
Oh,
in August. And I had, between February and August, I had decided that that weekend was going to be me coming back out doing comedy, you know, after sitting at home from the February debut of Netflix to then, and I caught COVID, so I had to cancel those two shows that I had that weekend. So you know how when you test positive, all they do is tell you to go home for 10 to 16 days and do this, and if you find you can't breathe, then go to the hospital. And it was the loneliest time of my life because I was basically ostracized from the rest of my family, who all of them had, you know, I got a lot of elderly people. Like, I ain't elderly, but you know, elderly more than me. In my family, and they all had taken the shot, and I hadn't taken the shot. So, you know, and they was like, "You gonna kill us?" And you took the shot. Shut up. But anyway, so I was like, man, you know, all the other people were out doing shows and whatever, and I was like, God, you know, I got to do whatever I got to do to stay relevant. And then I started going on Facebook Live every day and just talking to the people, telling them about how I was feeling. I never got COVID to the point where it was like some of the symptoms everybody was complaining about. I had a fever for like 2 days. It never got over 100. I basically thought I only had like a sinus infection or something, because I had a lot of congestion. I was tired. There was a lot of fatigue. Never lost my taste or smell, but I did lose my taste for Pepsi, because Pepsi was my drink of choice. I'd been drinking Pepsi, too many Pepsis. I'll drink Pepsi before I eat. But when I drank that Pepsi on that day and it tasted like straight saccharin or syrup or whatever, I was like, oh my God. Because I had been trying to quit Pepsi for the longest, but you know, I was addicted, you know. But I have not drank a Pepsi since then. I'm faithful to ginger ale right now.
Yes, I
And
love
water.
ginger ale and orange soda. Give me Fanta or Sunkist.
Yeah, I do the orange soda too, but I basically do the ginger ale, just water now. But I am not going back to the Pepsi. I said I got delivered from it, so I am not going back. But so anyway, to make a long story even longer, no, I so I it came to me, why don't you do a Zoom cast? And some ladies out in California had gotten a hold of me and they were like, hey, we saw your Netflix and whatever, we're a beginning company, we're trying to get our names out there, this and that, whatever. And we'd like to like put you out here, out here. We know that you're out here, but we want to do some kind of show with you or whatever. So I said, well, okay, let me think about it. And when so many people were coming on talking about, how much they miss talking to people and not having girlfriends to talk to and not being able to be around family and whatever, that's how the mask. I said, I want to do a show that centers around people being able to come on and just talk it out and not hold in what they were going through and whatever. And I said, I want it because everybody's behind a mask. I wanted to center it around that. So we got the acronym MASK and came up with making all souls kindred spirits. And Cougar Chronicle, that speaks for itself. I'm a cougar and I got but so that's what I've been doing now. In 2022, I'm going to launch Miss Jokety Joke's Juke Joint on Zoom, and that's it'll be an online comedy show where we have comedians come on. We have other artists and other genres like singers, dancers to come on and do, but it's basically it's like an online comedy club. That's and we're gonna have it set in like the Roaring '20s, like the Boom Boom Room kind of thing.
Okay.
You got the band, we got we even got us a tiny. So look for that in 2022, God willing, and because I don't know, this thing keeps mutating and different strains are coming out. I don't know if they'll ever get a handle to this. And, it's hard getting out here. I've been trying to stay a little relevant because when you don't do your show constantly, because before COVID hit, I was on the road at least 4 or 5 days a week. So when you stop doing that, and it's been like